Carl, I'm going to just start rolling in case we say something really funny or genius. You never know when genius is going to strike. Got me moving, I guess I'll do a quick little intro, which I might redo after the show when I'm not doing it in front of three strangers. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Film School. Carl and I today are going to be talking to the director, producer of a indie film out of Portland, Oregon, called My Summer as a Goth.
This is how I remember my summer as a goth.
I had to watch it because it had goth in the title, so, I had to see what this was all about. My Summer as a Goth is the story of Joey, a teenager mourning the loss of her father, who was shipped off to spend the summer with her grandparents by her mother. Here she is enchanted by the mysterious Victor, and is drawn into the Gothic subculture, diving in head first. The film is a tale of self-discovery and empowerment. Even though it is an ultra-low-budget indie film that lacks the polish of an indie like Lady Bird, which by the way cost $10 million, I found it very earnest, endearing, and enjoyable. So I'm here with Tara and two of the members of the cast, the leading lady, Natalie, who plays Joey, the protagonist, and Rachelle, who plays Molly, her best friend. So we're gonna throw some really tough questions at them today.
It's gonna be hardball, guys.
Yeah, so I hope you're ready to talk about politics.
All right,
and I hope you're pandemic and politics is what we're gonna talk about. No.
All we're doing.
Perfect. Hot topic.
Let's start with a very easy, quick question. I want each one of you guys to answer. Starting with Tara, describe this movie in 3 words.
In 3 words?
3 words.
3 words.
That's hard. You caught me off guard. Girl gone goth.
Ooh.
That's good.
Perfect.
I like that.
Natalie.
Heartbreak. New friends. Can that be 1 word? Friends. How about friends? And black lipstick. That's also 1 word. I did that so
works.
well. I did
That
really
works.
well in that.
It works.
Yeah.
Mine would be romance, friendship, and identity.
Perfect.
Great.
All right.
Great. Awesome.
And thank you for coming to the show, everybody. That was it. I'm just kidding. The next one on the list, I kind of would like to ask, just because it's kind of like personal to me. When I watched this film, it very much felt to me like a personal film. And so my question, first off, is, what is your goth story?
I got very curious about new wave and punk. It was the mid 80s at that point. And I would say when I moved to Salem, Oregon, when everything kind of broke loose in terms of altering my appearance, wanting to have different colored hair, I connected deeply with the drama kids in high school. And so I had a lot of opportunity and safe space to become a weirdo. So, you're very right. A lot of this pulls from our personal experience. Brandon and I co-wrote this project, and we put a lot of our personal experiences into this film.
Great.
Kind of a long answer, but
That's great. I've personally been involved in making a couple independent feature films, and I know that they are not easy to make. So I guess starting with Tara, what was the hardest thing about making this movie?
It really comes down to not having enough time, not having enough money, not having enough resources. In terms of our biggest hurdle is that, I don't know if you know, but we shot over 2 years. So we shot in 2016 for a week, and then we shot another 2.5 weeks in 2017. And that interim part of raising more money, but also making sure that we had the continuity correct was a huge feat.
That's crazy.
And, it's crazy.
I heard you say that I watched The Lightning Hour, hosted by Rachelle Henry. And I heard you tell that story, and I was like, are you kidding me? I can't even imagine doing that. Kudos, because that's tough. I couldn't tell at all when I was watching it.
It was really hard because there was a year between everything.
It's like Stranger Things season 4, basically.
Yeah,
I don't know how they're going to make that work.
Natalie and Rachelle, do you have anything to add to what was the hardest thing about making a movie for both of you, either of you?
So for me personally, the hardest part about portraying Joey and bringing this character to life was really just the nitty-gritty researching. First of all, and probably the most important one, was the goth culture, because it was very important to me and the rest of the cast and crew that we really, portray this subculture in a very accurate light.
So did you do like a goth like boot camp?
We did.
What did you
actually
do? How did you prepare to like become Lydia Dietz Jr.? Or
So we have our go-to goth, as we like to call her. Her name is Jillian Venters. She's the creator of Gothic Charm School. She was our person who was like in the know, and she could tell us all about it.
In the Lightning Hour, you mentioned she has a cameo in the movie. Was she the woman? I'm just guessing here. Was she the woman that said baby bats can't hold their liquor?
Exactly.
Knew it. I knew it. I was like, that's not an actor. Like first of all, I'm like, that's not an actor. And second, like that's a line you give someone like that's your friend that when you want to give them a cool cameo. So I was like, I bet that's the person. Rachelle needs to answer the same question now too. So you're Molly. Molly is the normal best friend. I like Molly's character a lot because like she's like super relatable and like down to earth and all like super loyal to her best friend. Like she's like, oh, you've got a goth boyfriend? Let's go meet him. Let's go hang out. Let's go to Club Medusa. Like she was down for anything. How much is Molly like you or not like you in real life?
Molly's a little more spontaneous than me. I'm not that I'm not spontaneous, just she kind of just she does think before she, makes a move, but she is a little more like, oh, that sounds fun. Let's go to a goth club. Like she, kind of will just jump at anything. And also she has dated a lot more than I have. So I liked playing her a lot.
Yeah, I gotta say, I did enjoy her character a lot, and it helped ground the Joey character. One of my few complaints about the film is like after like she like makes out with like random goth boy at the club, which is hilarious. It's like I'm like I've seen that happen like at so many goth clubs. Like normal girl stumbles in and like she ends up like, but like what happens to Molly after that scene? You know what I mean? Like she kind of disappears from the movie. I was really hoping like to see a little bit more of her.
Yeah, it was always intentional to have her sort of like pop in and pop out and then be at the close of the film.
Cool. Well, in the sequel, I guess she's gonna go goth, right? Like it's gonna be like part 2.
Sequel.
We'll see.
Series.
Yeah, series.
Yeah, her character kind of reminded me of I had a web series called The Gorys. It was kind of like the Munsters Addams Family, but for YouTube, like with people vlogging. One of the gags in the show is that these 3 sisters in the super goth family, but like one of them's like super normal. She's like a cheerleader.
It's really cute. I watched the first season, Justin.
Oh, thanks.
Cute. I loved it.
Thank you. It was kind of like just like a fun like web series workshop for us and for the actors where we would just like shoot like 5 episodes in a day. So we were shooting like 20 pages of script in a day. It was like way too much.
I was going to ask the next question, and maybe this is more towards Tara, but I was just curious, since this movie takes place in Portland or outside of Portland, what the and it explores the goth scene. What is the goth scene like in Portland? I'm just curious.
Well, it's pretty vibrant. The club scene and, the underage club scene and also, clubs where bands are playing. We worked with a lot of local bands. Our music supervisor is the front person for the band Dark Swoon, and they are in the film. They are the band that play in Club Medusa. They were hugely important in terms of connecting me with local goth bands. And then of course through that we found extras. And
do you still go club it up, Tara?
Well, on occasion. Not as much as back in the day.
Yeah. The Club Medusa sequence, it starts out they're all camping and then they go to Club Medusa. And I was just curious,
it was like, how did they get from the
campground to the club and then back to the campground? I was like
in one night. It's Oregon, dude.
It's Oregon. But yeah, I mean, there's camping pretty close by to Portland. I would say like 30 minutes away. There's Oxbow Park, which is sort of in our, imagination of the landscape of everything. That's where they are. It's like a quick overnight camping spot.
Oh, that's great.
And, they Victor borrows Cobb's hearse and, and Iggy drive them back out to the campsite.
I like the Antonio character. He reminded me of like a classic Jane Austen character, like the kind of guy that you think is like a bad guy and then turns out to be the guy, and kind of maybe like a love triangle.
You know, there's many levels of love and friendship, and, you know, whether that's, you know, physical love or friendship love, like there's many different levels to that. So that's something that
you're not going to tell us, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
because Carl and I were having this debate this morning or earlier today. What's the deal with Joey and Antonio? Like, are they a thing at the end, or are they just, is he like the gay best friend? That was, Carl thinks, you know, like he's the gay bestie, and I was like, no, like I think they're dating. So can you clear that up for us, please? Like, we need to know. This is really important.
I think that with the way that we were trying to get at that, it's definitely open to interpretation, but from what we were trying to portray, it was important to us that Joey left in the end without any love interests. She was just leaving with herself. She was leaving with the new relationships that she's found with people that she really wants to keep in her life. And the ambiguity of Antonio's sexual preferences was also something we wanted to convey, because these days, you know, it's not just black and white anymore.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it was most important. It never really was.
Yeah.
But it was really important to us that Joey was the hero of her own story, and she didn't need any man or woman or anything in between to help her find herself.
Yeah, that totally comes across. Like that, you guys did a great job. I love how like Victor gets his comeuppance.
Yeah, that was very satisfying. That was very satisfying when that happened.
Yeah, I mean, just to get like, you know, your ass handed to you by, you know, the author of Twilight, or what's, is that who you modeled the mom after?
Well,
what's the deal?
She's sort of like a dark romance tragedy.
Right.
The scene where Carissa really, you know, gives it to Victor, the crew, like after the first take, like they erupted in like applause because it was like we were all so frustrated with the Victor character, but it was like a moment where we're like, yes.
And the key to that is setting it up from the very beginning. From the first time you meet Victor, you immediately know he's bad news, even though he's, you know, he's cool and he's charming, and like you can see why, like a teenage girl that's like super bummed out about her father's death and also kind of like just frustrated that she's stuck in this place for the summer. You could see why she would become enamored with someone like that. But I'm glad you told a story like that, because like I feel like that's a good story for like especially young girls to see. Like I watched this thing with my daughter and I'm like, see, Violet, like that's the kind of guy you don't want to date. Like it's like a good cautionary tale about douchey guys. And who knows why Victor became the way he is. I'm sure you have a backstory for him. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like,
yeah, he's troubled. But that's, you know, we're not going to see that story in this movie, right? So because it's Joey's story and her experience of him.
I like found myself as a viewer relating to her character the most, because like I guess my goth story is kind of like Joey's, where there's a girl that I met that was goth, and so wanting to hang out with her, like I got dragged into going to a goth club, and next thing you know, this whole group of people are like doing my makeup in a college dorm. And I was like, all right, this is cool. And I feel like a lot of people get into the scene to impress a person that they're into. So I was like, yeah, I get it.
Since we're talking all things goth, I noticed a term about a month ago. Someone told me, and I don't know if you all are aware of this, but have you all heard of the term spoopy? SPOOPY?
Natalie, tell us about spoopy. What's up?
Tell it. What is spoopy?
Spoopy time. Spoopy time is the most spoopy of times is October. It's really just saying spooky, but you're saying it with a little bit of spice, a little bit of flavor.
Who embodies spoopy in popular culture right now? Like who would you say is a spoopy person that we would know?
In popular culture?
Yeah, like is Billie Eilish a spoopy?
Maybe
because
Billy's
Billy's a little more alternative. She's too cool.
Yeah.
I mean, she is a goofball. Like she's goofy and she's funny, but I don't think Billie Eilish is like the
Maybe
cute
like
side.
Maybe Melanie Martinez. I don't know too much about her,
Me
but
neither.
from what I can see, she's pretty spoopy.
Yeah. Like the sort of Tim Burton vibe, especially like Nightmare Before Christmas. I always
Lydia
thought her
Deetz.
Corpse Bride.
Yeah.
Lydia Deetz, of course. Lydia. It's my Beetlejuice shirt, in case anybody didn't know the reference. So, which I love. That is my favorite line. That is my favorite line, by the way, in the movie. Is what's the Lydia Deetz? I was just
Yeah.
that was my favorite line, hands down.
And Joey's like, what?
What?
Yeah,
she's
perfect.
not hip on who that is.
The
But Molly is.
that's the best Tim Burton film, by the way. So just inserting that right there. But go ahead.
That was one thing I loved about Joey was like that she was, and especially the way you portrayed it, Nat. You did a great job of portraying a bright-eyed kid kind of just like stumbling into a subculture and just like in awe and wonder. One of my favorite scenes that you did, Natalie, was when Joey goes to that goth house party and you're trying to like talk to all the goths. I feel like that's hands down my favorite scene. And you're like, hey, how about that Marilyn Manson?
Yes.
It was so good. It was so cringe. I loved it.
I mean, that scene, that whole series, that whole night of filming is definitely one of my favorites. Sophie Giberson, who played Pandora, we were best friends, and obviously the characters are like mortal enemies, like just completely opposite. And so getting to like play around with her, like we would have sleepovers beforehand and like go over our lines together and just like burst into laughter because that's so the opposite of our relationship in real life.
Oh, that's great. I had no idea.
Awesome.
That's so funny. All right, so we have a few minutes left. I want to do a few speed rounds of just like quick questions for all three of you guys to answer. All right, so first up, quote us your favorite line from the film.
What shall I play? Bela Lugosi's dead?
Yes.
Never heard of it.
So
I
good.
like
Fun
that one.
fact, I got to work with Peter Murphy. I did.
Yeah.
Like
Peter Murphy. Mm-hmm.
I did
Same.
3 music videos. Carl produced one of them.
I produced one of them. Yeah.
Very
He's the best.
nice. Very nice. Yes.
Super cool.
He was the lead singer of Bauhaus, the song, the band who does the song. Okay. All right. Favorite line from the movie, Natalie.
This is such an easy question to answer for me. My hands down favorite line is "Peace out, bitches." Leaving the party.
I remember how much fun you had saying that line.
That's
when we
so
were
funny.
filming it.
Rochelle, favorite line from the movie.
It's tied between two. So either obviously I need the Lydia Deetz line, or the line where Victor says, "Are you sure you don't want to change?" And I go, I bet you say that to all the girls. The first screening, everyone was like, "Whoa, girl!"
Yeah, that was good. I was like, I like her. She's cool.
All right. Tara, tell me your favorite goth movie.
Gypsy 83, because I watched your show on the best goth movies.
Oh,
And
yes.
And
Link
I
in the
love
description.
all-
Go ahead and click and like and subscribe.
Nat, your turn. What's your favorite goth movie?
You know, it is quite a toss-up for me between Beetlejuice, of course. We've been talking about it all interview, and The Craft. I mean, it's such a classic.
Oh, yes.
And
Yes.
also there's a sequel that's like a kind of a reprise that Zoe Lister-Jones wrote and directed, which I haven't seen it yet.
Both good choices. Rochelle.
So I would say Edward Scissorhands, anything Tim Burton, but Edward Scissorhands has always been a favorite of mine. Also, it's a Christmas movie, like Nightmare Before Christmas. It's also a Christmas movie. And also I recently saw The Crow for the first time. And I was like,
yes.
oh my gosh. So The Crow too.
You're up.
Okay, next question. What's your favorite goth song, Tara?
She's Lost Control by Joy.
Oh, Joy Division.
Yeah.
That's great.
Natalie, favorite goth song?
You know, I'm gonna stick with a real basic one. Bela Lugosi's Dead. It's a classic.
Can't go wrong.
It is a classic. Yeah.
You got one, Rochelle?
Why Can't I Be You by The Cure.
Oh,
Classic.
good.
Also, is it actually titled Friday? It's Friday I'm in Love.
Yeah.
That's the actual title, right? Okay. Yeah, I like that one too.
By the way, The Cure, it's unbelievable how long they've been making. I believe they started playing together like in the 70s, and
Yeah. Like
I saw
77 or 8.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Over
it's
40 years now.
unbelievable like how long they've hung in there. And I saw them last year here in LA, and there was like this amazing festival called, I think it's called the Daydream Festival, I believe. And it was The Cure,
right.
and then
I
a
remember
bunch of like goth bands that they curated. You know, Robert Smith, you know, isn't as young as he used to be, but like
He still has the pipes.
he sounded better than ever, like as good as ever. It was unbelievable. So if you guys ever get a chance to go see them, highly
That
recommend
is
it.
one band I have yet to see in concert.
Oh,
I
no
went to
kidding.
see
Wow.
I've missed
Yeah.
them. It just hasn't worked out to be able to go.
All I know is when I've seen the Cure, it's always like a 3-hour show. It's like it's because they have like 40 years of repertoire,
Right.
so they just play, and a lot of their songs are like jam songs that are like 10 minutes long.
But if you're a fan, you're loving every second. Like you know, like I'm in heaven. Like it's the best thing ever.
Did you like their cover of Just Like Heaven?
Yes, I noticed it was great.
So
I love that.
yeah, so is that who performs that cover, and is it on Spotify? Like that's a great cover.
It is
I love that.
not. The only place you're going to see it or hear it is in the movie. So we were able to clear it for the movie only. We couldn't clear it for our soundtrack. It's performed by Jana Cushman, who's the front person of Dark Swoon.
That's
And
great.
I asked them specifically because I had inspiration songs as we were cutting and, you know, swapping out things. And that always was meant for that scene. It was intimidating a bit for her to do it, but, you know, they really pulled it off. So it was
I
really
loved
nice.
it. I love that you picked that as kind of like the, you know, the signature set piece song at the end. It very much felt like a John Hughes ending of a movie, like with the big song at the end. It was such good vibes at the end with that song. It was such a great choice.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally
I
agree.
feel like you could maybe get away with putting that up on YouTube because people put covers up on YouTube all the time without
Maybe
publishing.
we'll look into it. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that
although-
it would be really cool to be able to do that, and
Because YouTube will pay the Cure's publishing, you know, like them. They have deals, like pre-made deals with publishers. So I think that all of that has been pre-worked out through YouTube. So if you can do that, like,
well, I'll look into it.
I'm
Maybe
telling you,
it'll be
I'll
a
have it on repeat.
holiday
and it'll be great.
surprise. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
You have any questions for us at all?
No, we're not the guests.
We're not the guests.
Nobody cares about us.
What's your favorite goth song,
We
Justin?
didn't make a movie.
Yeah.
I know.
What are your favorite goth songs?
What's your favorite goth song, Justin?
Oh, see, that's so hard. I would go with The Cure probably. I'd probably go with like Edge of the Deep Green Sea is like one of my all-time favorite Cure songs.
I would
It's
say,
just, it's just
yeah.
that puts me in a mood like every time. It's like if I need to let something out.
If I could put the entire Disintegration album, like, would be good. I mean, but like one song in particular would be "Same Deep Waters You." I think is great.
Oh, I have a good like kind of ending question thing. Like, has making this movie changed your appreciation of goth culture in any way?
I mean, my character, of course, wasn't goth, but it was cool getting to learn about goth culture. And that magazine that I'm reading when we are in Victor's room getting ready to go, it was actually like a 1980s goth magazine talking about all the bands like The Cure, Bauhaus. And so it was cool because I was actually between takes. I was able to read it and study up on it a lot more than I had.
The biggest takeaway that I took from making this film was that goth culture is not at all what I thought it was. You know, when I was going into it and just sort of starting to get into the realm of being goth, I was like, okay, it's black and dark things, and okay, that's pretty much it. But no, sir. It's a lot more than that. It's a lot of it is really just about seeing the beauty in darker things and kind of normalizing things that, like, you know, we and, you know, the understreams of society don't really see.
Tara, mission accomplished.
Oh, yeah.
Like a whole new generation of goths will now.
Ben?
Well, I'm gonna wrap it up because I've kept you guys a little longer than I asked. So I appreciate you guys so much. This has been super fun.
Yeah,
This
thank
has
you
been
so
like
much.
really good time.
Yeah.
So the movie, once again, is My Summer as a Goth. We're going to put links in the description below for the trailer and how you can watch it online. It's available on Amazon. That's how I streamed it. We'll also include links to Tara, Natalie, and Rachelle's socials, so you can check them out. And thank you guys for watching another episode. We'll be back next week talking about something else. I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. I'm just doing an outro, and I'll probably do another one later. But that's everything. Carl, do you have anything?
Thanks for watching.
I think at this
everybody.
point we just start doing TikTok dances. And, you guys make another damn movie, please, all of you. Like, I want to see more shit. You guys are amazing.
I would love that. I'd love to do a series with these people. That would be
yes.
awesome.
All right, guys. Have a great night.